And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Fanboy Fridays, 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 Fanboy, 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 Fanboy,
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. Fanboys, we hope your day is going terrible. So the Deer is back, everybody. The Deer is back with the It's Just a Game podcast, this time featuring Steve Nash. And I think we all owe LeBron James some gratitude. I think we all need to sincerely thank LeBron James for leaving so much evidence behind of his lack of self-awareness, for leaving so much evidence behind of his poor character, and last but not least, for leaving so much evidence behind that there is no way possible that this guy should have ever been in the GOAT conversation. So, like I said, he's back with Steve Nash, and I hadn't checked out the whole podcast yet, but I have seen enough. And so, without further ado, people, this is a very important clip for you all to pay attention to. This is fanboys. This is very, very important clip to pay attention to. Because in this clip, everybody, in this clip, LeBron James talks about the importance of not running away when things get tough. So everybody, please pay very close attention to what the leader of the 4 and 6 kingdom has to say.
Generation of parenting, we protect our kids too much.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta let them fail a little bit. You know, now, the kids mean everything to the AU program, not the AU program.
And if they don't like it there, then they go somewhere else. If they don't like it there, they go somewhere else. Like it's
And NIL, right?
NIL, yeah.
So can a coach be hard on you? Like I would have never made the league if it wasn't for my high school coach, my college coach being hard as hell on me.
Yeah.
You know, that made me tough. That made me be able to suffer, to fail, to get back up, to keep going, to keep believing, because they'd rode me. Right, they wrote me, and so that's a hard thing for our kids. Like there's very few environments nowadays that have that where we let them struggle. Right, I think it's so appropriate challenges.
Yeah, so I was so humbled and appreciative, like when Bronny wanted to stay at his high school for 4 straight years.
Yeah,
even he could have went other places and maybe even got better opportunities or be able to do whatever he wanted to do with the game or whatever, and he stayed at the same high school for 4 years. And our youngest son did as well. He because of parenting, because of some things that was happening at the school that we didn't like, we kind of made him transfer in the summertime. He wanted to stay, and then ultimately he came to us and said he was not happy with the places that we sent him to, and he ended up going back. And now this is his senior year, and basically he spent all 4 years at the same high school too. And that means something. Like, you're not like running away from adversity. You're even though things might not be going your way, you able to say, fuck it, man. Like, okay, I'm here.
Yes.
I've laid the groundwork, and okay, it's not going well for me here, but this is not even the real world. Right. What if it doesn't work out for me in the real world? Right. I can't just like pack up and just leave.
Yeah.
I have to be able to stick through it and work through it. So
but those are values that start at home. Right?
Yeah,
like they value community, they value character, resilience. Like they didn't want to leave their teammates. Like that stuff matters, and I think that's important.
Okay, everybody, did you get that? Was everyone paying very close attention to what the leader of the 4 and 6 kingdom had to say? I really hope you were, because it was very sound advice about sticking it out. So first of all, Steve Nash starts with the fact that as parents, You know, a lot of us can coddle our children too much. You don't want them to have to go through any adversity. Now, this is absolutely true, but I just find it very ironic that he's talking to the guy who just used his power in the NBA to get his son a job on the Lakers. I find it very ironic that he's talking to the guy who just confronted Stephen A. Smith because he was criticizing his son as a basketball player. This is very interesting that Steve Nash is saying this to the ultimate coddler. And then, so LeBron James gives an example of his kids sticking it out by saying, I'm glad they stayed at the same high school for 4 years. And I thought this just was a very strange example to give, not for a lot of reasons. Sticking it out in high school is not one of those things that I would say this proves your, especially not for the reasons that LeBron gave, that this proves your ability to stick it out in situations. Because unless you were getting bullied in high school, like I would understand a kid wanting to change schools for that. But in general, a kid, you know, once he establishes friends in high school and whatnot, he's not going to want to change he or she is not going to want to change high schools. Like high school, you know, is once you have your friend group, you're not going to want to change. And he gave an example of they actually made Bryce change, again, being an example of the ultimate coddler, made Bryce change because they didn't like the way things were going, because the parents, LeBron James and Savannah James, didn't like the way things were going at the school, and they made Bryce change, and Bryce came to them and said he wanted to go back. So again, to me, when you're talking about kids, they're not going to want to change high schools. This is not some big feat in learning how to stick it out because his kids didn't want to change high schools. And so I think this is just another example of how clueless LeBron James is. Now, it's funny, the very last thing that was said in that clip that I played was Steve Nash mentioned not leaving your teammates. Again, Steve Nash, do you know who you're sitting across from? But before we go on, let me just play this segment from LeBron James one more time. Let me play this one more time. LeBron James fanboys, pay attention. This is your king.
And that means something.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like running away from adversity. You're you know, even though things might not be going your way, you able to say, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm here.
Yes.
I've laid the groundwork, and okay, yeah, it's not going well for me here, but this is not even the real world.
Right.
What if it doesn't work out for me in the real world?
Right.
I can't just like pack up and just leave.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be able to stick through it and work through it. So
I cannot express how weird this sounds if you know the career of LeBron James. If you understand what LeBron James has done throughout his career, I cannot explain how weird this sounds coming from LeBron James. And this is why I decided to play these video clips in this particular video, is because the minute I heard him saying that, I automatically thought about the decision. You know, him talking about sticking it out. I automatically thought about the decision. I thought about the 2020 fake championship, the 2020 bubble half a championship, when LeBron James said, and I want my respect too. Because that statement about I want my respect, the fact that he even has to say that is a direct result of what began when he left Cleveland. Now, Cleveland was the definitive event that took place. But obviously, this had to be LeBron James' character to begin with. The ability to leave when things get hard. This had to be his character to begin with. So the fact that he left Cleveland when things got tough, that he actually left his opportunity to be more like Mike. That was his opportunity to be more like Mike. He left his opportunity to take a losing franchise and turn it into a dynasty. And along with abandoning that opportunity, he also left a lot of respect that he could have had with that one decision. So he lost so much with that one decision. And again, that decision is just a reflection of who he is to begin with. So the fact that he's sitting here talking about sticking it out. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me play this clip just one more time. This is so odd coming from, to hear a conversation like this coming from LeBron James. This is so strange.
And that means something. Yeah. Like, you're not like running away from adversity. You're even though things might not be going your way, you able to say, fuck it, man. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm here.
Yes.
I've laid the groundwork, and okay, yeah, it's not going well for me here, but this is not even the real world. Right. What if it doesn't work out for me in the real world? Right. I can't just like pack up and just leave. Yeah. I have to be able to stick through it and work through it. So,
coming from the guy who has spent his whole career avoiding adversity, this is really strange. We're living in the twilight zone, people. LeBron James, you left Cleveland because of adversity. LeBron James, you then turn around and left Miami because of adversity. You left Cleveland again because of adversity. LeBron James, you have had teammates traded, coaches fired because of adversity. You've had more pieces moved on your behalf than any player in the history of the game because of adversity. You have never actually learned to win because you have always avoided adversity. Again, when people say LeBron James went to Miami, when Stephen A. Smith says LeBron James went to Miami to learn how to win, this is false. LeBron James never in his career has actually learned what it takes to overcome and win. This is why LeBron James is 4-6 in the finals. Because LeBron James, first of all, let's think about this. If it wasn't for Ray Allen and Kyrie Irving, LeBron James would be 2-8. LeBron James would be 2-8 in the finals. Hey, LeBron James fanboys, you guys, as much as you glaze LeBron James, you guys need to be laying the glaze on thick for Kyrie Irving and Ray Allen. Because without them, your king would be 2-8. But I'm sure if he was 2-8, you guys would still find every excuse in the book to excuse the losses, just like you excuse the 6 finals losses. What's 2 more? What's 2 more losses when you have a losing mentality like LeBron James and his fanboys? But yeah, this is another case of LeBron James, do as I say and not as I do. This is another case of LeBron James, do as I say and not as I do. This is LeBron James on the court, getting upset when somebody else's man scores on them, and he's fussing at them about playing defense, but LeBron James doesn't play a lick of defense. LeBron James has been called the B word by his teammates for not playing defense. This is another example of LeBron James saying, do as I say, not as I do. Not only that, but again, this is another example of LeBron James just being a politician. Like, he knows the correct thing to say, but he doesn't do them. He knows what to say because he spent a long time watching people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I want to say he's watched Larry Bird, but he probably hasn't. I want to say he's watched Magic Johnson, but he probably hasn't. But he's watched enough greats to know the right things to say, but he doesn't do them. And again, how ironic is this that Steve Nash is sitting here saying these things right in front of the guy who is the poster child for everything that he is talking about. Like, he's talking to the most coddled guy in NBA history, and the guy who has his son in the NBA and just confronted Stephen A. Smith for criticizing his son. Talking to the guy who has a media team to go out there and try to promote a GOAT case for him that doesn't exist. And again, everything about LeBron James, it shows you that he cannot handle that when the going gets tough, LeBron gets out of there. He doesn't get going. He doesn't get going and get tougher. And when the going gets tough, LeBron is packing up those bags. LeBron is looking for the next team. Anyway, we're going to hold up here. I hope everyone has learned something today. I hope you LeBron James fanboys have learned something today about your king. There's a couple of things you should learn. You should learn to do as he says and not as he does. And the second thing you should learn from LeBron James is that if your house is made of glass, you should shut the hell up. Just shut up. Again, fanboys, if you should ever so happen to get in a position to where you are making any kind of money and where you are in the public eye, please surround yourself with people who will take the microphone from you. Please surround yourself with people who will actually take the microphone from you, because you are constantly making yourself look ridiculous in the public eye. Please don't be like LeBron James and surround yourself with yes men who are going to agree with everything you say, who is willing to go on a campaign of lies just to receive a check or a pat on the head from you. Please don't surround yourself with these kind of people, because then, you get content made about you like this, exposing how ridiculous you look. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about what the duck, the deer, the leader of the 4 and 6 kingdom, the founder of the CFL? What do you think about what LeBron James had to say? Do you think his example of how Bronny stayed at the same high school for 4 years is an example of sticking it out when things get tough? Because remember, his reasoning for that is because he's like, Bronny, he could have went to other high schools that had better opportunities. But again, like I said, that's ridiculous. Kids are going to want to stay with their friend group. So LeBron James, that example is a fail. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.